How would you take a little shot of hot sauce? Because right now you're slow, you're lethargic. You need something to wake you up. There we go. Down the hatch. Down the hatch.
Oh, it hurts.
Woo! Brock Purdy, 23 for 38, 255 yards.
I understand everyone is hating right now. Everyone hates it, but that was Patrick Mahomes putting the team on his back, carrying the team to the finish line, and winning that football game.
For his scheme to work, he needs star-studded players. He cannot perform without some of the best players in the league playing for him.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie Beeman.
Before we
Classic
start
like
here,
Dom singing.
ladies and
Blasting like
gents,
Dom
this is a shot glass full of hot sauce. Well, almost halfway, well, 3/4 of the way full.
This is a buffet sports moment.
Because that's all we had, in which Zane can tell me to take it at any point in the podcast. Because I lost our fantasy stuff.
Pause.
So
Big pause on.
let's jump in here. I'm gonna run through our. Do you want to go through Super Bowl first, or you want to do all of our predictions and who won what first?
Let's go predictions first.
All right. So for our predictions at the beginning of the year, this was on June 20th. Travis picked. This is Super Bowl predictions. Okay, June 20th. Travis, the 3 teams he picked were KC, Bills, Bengals. Those are the 3 options he had to win the Super Bowl. KC ended up winning.
I mean, that's an easy answer.
Yeah. You picked the Raiders, Giants, and Jets, so that really went well. And then
God.
I picked either the Dolphins, the Eagles, or the 49ers. I was close. So Travis ended up getting...
You had 3 good ones. You had actually 3 good ones.
The MVP predictions, this is also on June 20th. Travis picked Josh Allen. You picked Joe Burrow, and I picked Lamar. So
hey, Joe Burrow is actually not even that bad of a pick.
No, he just ended up getting hurt. So there's that.
You won MVP?
I got MVP correct.
It's crazy that he's my quarterback and I didn't pick him. What a fake fan I am.
This was our top 10 for quarterbacks to begin the year was Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Goff, Tua, Garoppolo, Carr, Watson. We're going to have to do that over again.
I think we got more wrong than we did right.
Yeah. Okay, so that was our predictions. Those were our early season predictions. Now, looking at our picks for the entire year. Drum roll, please.
Can you hear that?
I don't know. Coming in third place, number 7 wins. Travis Jerome. Coming in second with 8 wins. Winning the entire regular season and then not winning a single week in the postseason. Zane Lataw.
Let's go, baby.
And with 9 wins, barely edging him out. Pause. Winning on Super Bowl weekend. I came in with 9 wins. Those were our final predictions.
I mean, let's be real about this, right? You won on Super Bowl weekend. You just had to pick one game, right? I won the regular season where I had to pick the entire schedule, and I won that. So give me a little bit of credit here.
Credit's there, even if it's not Super Bowl. I mean, it's still, if you want to discount Super Bowl, then it'd be a tie between us.
I know, but like playoffs, I don't know. I get a little antsy sometimes.
And then finally, looking at our betting totals for Super Bowl Sunday. All right. Going down the list here. Christian McCaffrey, under, over 100 rushing yards. I picked the under. You picked the over. He was under. Plus or minus 1.5 touchdowns. You took the over. You took the under. I took the over. You won that. We're 1-1. Travis Kelce, under, over 120 receiving yards. You took the under. I took the over. You won. You're up 1-2.
Okay,
2-1.
buddy. I know there's a reason why you're doing it in this order. I can already tell.
George Kittle, plus or minus 4.5 receptions. I took the under. You took the over. I won. It is 2-2. Close-ups of Taylor Swift, plus or minus 10. I took the under. You took the over. You won. It is now 3-2. National anthem, under over 2 minutes. I took the under. It was under 2 minutes. 3-3. Will there be a kneel?
Where's the Patriot spirit gone, you know?
Will the game end in a kneel out? You said no. I said yes. It was not. Advantage Zane 3-4. Longest field goal. You took KC. I took the Niners. You won. Now up.
You must have felt
3-5.
really good seeing that he broke the record there. First field goal, he broke the record. You must have been feeling super good about that bet.
I did. Coin toss. Heads, tails. You took tails. It went heads.
Well, technically, tails never fails because it went to overtime. They flipped the coin and it was tails. So, and technically, it should have been a wash because we only said coin toss. We never said
You knew what it meant. You knew what it meant.
I'm just saying, tails still does not fail.
4-5. Will Gronk make the field goal? You said yes. I said no. He did not.
I should have known that big goof.
Tied up 5-5. Coming down to correct score and who won the game. You both picked the Niners.
Yeah.
And I picked the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So I won 6-5.
I was closer in correct score though.
You were closer in correct score. So I won 6-5. So that makes my count for the year 105.
Here's the thing though, is like I wanted the Chiefs. When I was watching the game, I thought I was gonna want the 49ers to win. But as I watched the game, I wanted the Chiefs to win during it. It was a very weird time for me to where I picked the 49ers. I want the 49ers to win, but as I'm watching it, I'm like, no. Like I want Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce to win. It was a weird moment for me.
That was a beautiful segue. This was a very boring Super Bowl. Like for the most part,
until the end.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I'm glad we got something out of it. We got some sort of action, but
yeah, I mean, we got those record breaks for kickoffs at the beginning, so that kind of kept us engaged.
I was so surprised when they said that those were record kicks, man. I was so surprised because yeah, for the Super Bowl, like that's crazy to me. 53 was not that long. Like 53 is not that long in the grand scheme of things. Like those are kicked weekly. We get a 53-yard field goal weekly in the NFL. So I was really surprised that was the record. Then it was broken. That 52 was the record, I think it was, and then it was broken. I genuinely, for a second there, thought he was going to win the Super Bowl MVP.
The kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a thing that me and my dad were discussing. We're like, who wins MVP? Right. Like because this is when San Fran was like ahead. Like if San Francisco wins, who wins? Because like I don't feel like it's Brock Purdy. That's I was thinking Juwan too. That's what I said.
And he was like plus 230 at one point. Or no, he's plus 200, I think was the lowest at one point. So it felt that way. I mean, it was a Juwan game. Passing touchdown and a receiving touchdown.
Yeah, and then even so, like until we got into overtime, if the Chiefs would have won, who would have been the MVP? Because like it would have been Mahomes, obviously, but it didn't feel like he was like the most valuable. It felt like nobody was the most valuable player till the end.
For the script, I thought Travis Kelce was going to score on that throw that got them into the red zone. I thought, oh, there's Super Bowl MVP, and I had just bet Travis Kelce Super Bowl MVP and Mecole Hardman as Super Bowl MVP. I just bet both, like each one individually, and I thought he was going to score there. He didn't, and then when they went down in overtime and won, and it was Mecole Hardman, I was like, bro, no way. I was like, is there a chance? There was not a chance. But
was it Mahomes?
It was Mahomes.
It was Mahomes. I had a feeling it was going to be him as soon as I saw it overtime, or I think maybe it was just the fourth quarter to keep him in the game. Those runs. Those long ass runs.
When I finally looked at the box score, it was pretty clear to me. Like he was hands down the best player on the field. So let's just get into it. 46 attempts, 34 completions, 333 yards, an average of 7 yards per catch, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He had gone 7 straight postseason games without throwing an interception until tonight. And then he added 9 carries for 66 yards, leading the Chiefs in rushing, the longest of 22 and an average of 7 yards as well.
He really held that out till the very end, you know? Oh, you want a moment here? You want a moment? Congratulations.
Congratulations, man.
Congratulations. Yeah.
That was ridiculous. Like, I can understand. I understand everyone is hating right now. Everyone hates it, but you can't be mad at that performance. You can't say that it was he got carried or there was someone else. That was Patrick Mahomes putting the team on his back, carrying the team to the finish line and winning that football game. There's no like you can't look at anyone else and say, "Oh, he carried or he did it." It was Patrick Mahomes through and through. And
And it
was a
was
very
really only until crunch time when he really came alive. Like the whole rest
yeah.
of the game, like it was just like, okay, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. It was, I remember the stat was like it had been 4 minutes and 30 seconds since either team had recorded a first down, like
It was
sometime in that game.
Mahomes is not a runner. You don't see him you don't see them doing that during the regular season,
He's
but
not Lamar Jackson
no, but
or Josh Allen.
when it's playoff time, bro, and it's time to show up, put the ball in your best player's hands and go win a football game.
Yeah,
And he did it.
that one fourth down where it looked like they were going to hand
Yeah.
it off to Pacheco again, and he took it. He took it for like 10 yards or whatever.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah. I mean,
Why he won MVP is what I mean.
he looks fantastic. Looking at some of the ancillary pieces around him, Isaiah Pacheco, 18 carries for 59 yards, a long of 10. Not what I was expecting there.
Thought it was going to be a
Um,
very different game for Pacheco. I was still waiting for the A gap blast for 20 yards.
I know.
You
I
know,
was
like
too. I thought
uh,
he was going to score. I thought he was going to score at least one touchdown.
yeah, especially with the edge rushers and Nick Bosa and Chase Young, and we'll get to Chase Young in a bit, but with the edge pressures, I thought that the running game was going to be huge for them. And they even said at the beginning of the game they wanted to establish Pacheco. They couldn't establish Pacheco, but then they come out in the second half and they have a whole new game plan. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's why
Hey,
the Chiefs are the Chiefs.
clap it up for the Chiefs O line. Like they did not necessarily let Pacheco give Pacheco huge gaps, but they kept Patrick pretty clean, I felt like during that game.
Yeah, I
For the
mean,
most part. For the most
going
part, when
one
you're
on
dealing
one,
with when you're dealing with Chase Young and Nick Bosa, you kept Mahomes pretty damn clean.
yeah, going up against one on one on Nick Bosa, and you're putting him to the ground on a couple of plays that I saw. I mean, hats off to them. They played their hearts out. Obviously, you could see it on the field.
Oh yeah. And then turning to the receivers here,
Also thought Rashid was going to have a way bigger role in this than he did.
kind of did. I mean, it was kind of an odd game. I'm going to get to him. I wanted to talk a little bit about him, but of course, Travis Kelce, 9 receptions on 10 targets, 93 yards, an average of 10 yards per catch. McCole Hardman, the returning Kansas City Chief, who started the year as a Jet, 3 receptions, 57 yards, 1 touchdown, game winner in the Super Bowl. He should get that ball, and he's gonna have that story for the rest of his life that he'll be able to tell his grandkids he caught the Super Bowl winning ball, touchdown
And you know what this
from
reminds
Patrick
me of?
Mahomes.
This reminds me of the Patriots. It reminds me of picking up these guys that nobody knows about, and then for a season they look like they could be a starter anywhere. And then in the Super Bowl, there's a guy that like Chris Hogan, for example. I bring him up a lot, but he's one of those guys that they picked up for like a season or two, and he looked like he was going to be a superstar, and he played great in the Super Bowl, right? It's sort of the same situation with how they have been able to do the same thing as Belichick of picking up these guys that nobody knows about, and then they can play at a high level, in the highest of levels, in the Super Bowl and perform.
I don't know if I specifically said it for this game, but I thought it was. I might have. I don't remember. I'll have to go back and watch the tape. But I do remember talking about the actual tight ends on the Chiefs,
Yeah,
Justin Watson and Noah Gray. Justin
huge
Watson played
games from them.
yep. Well, more so from Justin Watson. Noah Gray had a couple important catches, but Justin
Yeah,
Watson, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 54 yards, huge, a long of 25 in one of those. And then
they
finally, go ahead.
Those two really pick up the big yardage when it counts. Like every time
That's what I'm saying.
it was beyond 10 yards, it was one of their tight ends.
Third and outside the numbers. Like that, you
Which is
saw
bizarre
them.
because it's the opposite for Kelsey. Maybe that's something that they plan for, is having these guys who are looked at less go for those deeper routes to get open. But it's the opposite
Well,
for Kelsey. Kelsey gets all of his yards, at least this game. I mean, we saw him run. He was running like he had meth injected into his system.
yeah, I mean, this game was a little bit odd, but he usually Kelsey's that guy over the middle where you just get him the ball over the middle, let him make a play. Whereas the actual tight ends are the guys that it's third down and you need to throw outside the numbers, just like I was saying, and you just need to pick up a third down. And then finally we come to Rashee Rice, 8 targets, 6 receptions for 39 yards. Not as, like you said, not as big of a role as like you expected to see. I think he had a couple big plays in that final drive in OT that were huge. Some big pickups on third down, and I think there was
Fourth
one on
down.
second. Yeah, fourth too. So may not be the biggest stat sheet look there, but for a rookie, showed up in the big moments. And I think going into next year, which I'm super excited, like this isn't obviously a wide receiver one stat line here,
He's going to
but
be.
going into next year, like as Kelsey continues to slow down and as they need to find pieces, this was the trust is there. 8
Yeah.
targets, 6 receptions. That's
In the Super Bowl.
huge in the Super Bowl. That's going to be a
Rookie wide receiver.
huge trust builder. You've got at least 5 years with him where it's cheap, and he's going to probably continue to be when you've got your number one guy on the team willing to take a pay cut, everyone else is too. So that's interesting. That's huge. I'm excited that I have him. I'm interested to see what he does next year.
What it
The
really showed was, which I saw a little interview uh, on CBS. They're interviewing the San Francisco corners. And they were talking about how come you guys haven't been getting any talks at all. Everybody's talking about Kansas City's corners being great. What about you guys? You guys have been playing great all season. What this really showed with Rashid's stat line is that Kansas City knew how great they were because they weren't running these screens that they usually do with Rashid. Rashid was getting them on those.
Rashi.
Rashid was getting those on those slants, those quick outs. They were not doing screens because they understood how great San Francisco's corners actually were, even though the rest of us didn't. Just a quick little point I wanted to point out.
The next place to look here, just in terms of individual stats, Nick Bolton, huge game for them. Linebacker for the Chiefs, 13 total tackles, 5 solo tackles. I know we don't talk about defense that often, but that's a great look there.
I mean, both defenses. I mean, we called it a boring game. A boring game means that there are 2 defenses that are playing outstanding. That is what a boring game means. And they played, especially in that first half. I mean, only giving up 10 points to San Francisco. I mean, we've talked about how they've been slow in the playoffs, but it's still San Francisco. Debo seemed to be healthy until the second half, and they still were able to stop them. It was outstanding performance on both sides of the ball.
Now flipping the coin and going to the San Francisco side. When you look down the barrel,
do you need to take a breather?
No, I'm just looking at the numbers here, and it's just like nothing here.
Here, let me stop you real quick. Let
What?
me stop you real quick. Maybe some hot sauce will get you moving a little bit faster.
Right now.
Maybe some hot sauce will get you moving a little faster there, buddy. How,
Oh,
how would you take a little shot of hot sauce? Because right now you're slow, you're lethargic. You need something to wake you up. There we go. Down the hatch. Down the hatch. Good man. Good man. Good man.
oh, it hurts.
Woo! Makes you want to slap your mom.
Oh, it hurts. Oh,
Makes you want to punch a baby.
oh.
Let's get going. Let's get going. Let's
You go.
let's get this going. All right, I'll
You
go. Brock Purdy, 23 for 38, 255 yards, 1 TD, QBR rating 69.8. what I really saw from this Super Bowl, what I really saw from this Super Bowl performance is Des been talking about it all year long. Christian McCaffrey is the man on the team. He is the offense. He deserved more praise than Brock Purdy got. I know a lot of people are hesitant to say that, but I mean, 22 carries, 80 yards. Oh, that's not that great of a stat. 8 receptions for 80 yards. That's 160 yards and a touchdown, right? I mean, he, especially in that overtime, if you guys watch that overtime, you would understand how much in that last drive, it was literally just him. He was the only thing keeping them alive in that overtime drive to get them that field goal. So huge game from Christian McCaffrey. And then let's talk about Juan Jennings. You doing okay over there?
I'm sweating.
Yeah, there we go. Let's get a little movement. Let's get a little movement. You know, it's late at night. Let's get going. Juan Jennings, only 4 receptions, 49 yards and a TD, but Nick Shanahan proves to still know how to mix it up.
Shanahan.
What's his name? Kyle Shanahan. I was thinking about Nick.
I want you to learn some names this offseason.
Kyle Shanahan still knows how to mix it up, doing a little, I don't even know what to call it. It's not a reverse. I guess it would be a reverse pass, right? Reverse pass to Christian McCaffrey. Usually most people, when they do the reverse, have them go out and then throw it. They throw it to the quarterback and then the quarterback goes for the long ball. Not this offense. They throw it to Christian McCaffrey and he just runs for a 30-yard touchdown. Hell of a little play to spark them up. Too bad it didn't turn into anything, but that is most of the offensive side. George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, but they had low games, low static games. It was really Juan Jennings and then a couple of other guys that were really keeping them alive, especially in the first half. And I mean, shout out to Brock. Brock did the same thing as Patrick does, to where when your number ones or your number threes technically, or number fours, because you have Christian McCaffrey, Ayuk, Deebo, and Kittle, all of those aren't open. And then you go basically to your 5th option and keep the game alive. Shout out to Brock. On the defensive side of things, there was a long talk. Yeah.
Wait. Did I not tell? Oh my God. Did I not tell you Deebo would not freaking show up? Because you'd start whining and he'd pull his hammy and he'd be nicked up and hurt.
You called it. He was nicked up before and then he pulled his hammy. I mean, a lot of injuries on San Francisco side of the ball, but I mean, we really see. Oh, I don't want to say it, but I am. I think there's a problem in Kyle Shanahan's offense, which is that for his offense, for his scheme to work, he needs star-studded players. He cannot perform without some of the best players in the league playing for him, because Deebo gets hurt. Deebo's not able to perform. All of a sudden, we're like, why can't the San Francisco 49ers move the ball? Why is George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk not making all these incredible plays? Why is Christian McCaffrey getting stopped? Right. And the only place that we can throw the blame to is because Deebo's hurt, because we can't throw it on Brock Purdy, right? Brock Purdy, like, he still showed his accuracy, which is the main attribute to why people are saying his timing, which is the main attribute to why people are saying that, hey, he's not this guy who's only reliant on this star-studded team. He's also a really good player. And we saw it. We saw a couple of those deep balls, extremely accurate. We also saw a couple of balls that he overthrew, but there was pressure and there was also tip balls, stuff like that. The only thing we can really throw it to is Deebo Samuel being hurt. We see it. There were so many jet sweeps that they used to run. There were so many opportunities that they used to get Deebo the ball, and they weren't doing it in the Super Bowl. Why weren't they doing that? His shoulder was hurt, and then he pulled his hammy. All of that's hurt. They tried doing it in the second half of the game. They couldn't get it going. So to me, the way I am looking at it is that it's not Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is great. I think that expectations that we give Brock Purdy are far-fetched, and we'll get into that later. But I think the problem with this offense getting going is that Kyle Shanahan's offense is only an elite offense when he has elite players all around playing. Because Debo got hurt at the beginning of the season. They lost a couple of games. Debo is hurt and nicked up in the Super Bowl. We're not seeing much from Debo. So it's either one of two things. It's either they need all of these guys for their offense to work, or Debo is truly the MVP of this offense. It's one of two things. And for me personally, I don't see a world where Debo is more important than Christian McCaffrey. That's just me. I think Christian McCaffrey leads that offense. I think Christian McCaffrey is the number one guy for that offense. Nobody can replace Christian McCaffrey. Once he leaves, if he ever leaves or he retires there, we will see a huge drop in the performance of that offense. So I am thinking that it is Kyle Shanahan's offense and that he needs all these elite guys to be able to run his offense. You doing okay? Do I got
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
You're doing all right.
I just have pizza, beer, hot sauce,
Hell
and
yeah.
freaking cookies in my stomach right now.
Hey, that's a redneck Super Bowl for you.
Anyways, I think I agree with you.
Yeah, I'll just
I
keep
don't.
talking.
I think that I think McCaffrey showed that he's the most important piece to the offense. But there's limits to what he can do because he had 160 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. It's
Yeah,
pretty
I mean,
freaking fantastic to me.
especially as a running back.
Yeah, so I think that the offense still goes as McCaffrey goes, but there's only so much he can do. Like, because in the grand scheme of things, they led almost the whole game and they led in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So I think to me, I wanted to look at a couple of the flashpoint plays here that I think really spoke volumes. Um, I think obviously the first one is the Christian McCaffrey touchdown.
Yep.
That opened things up and got the first touchdown on the board.
I should have been a bigger spark than what it was.
I think the interception, I think the drive by the Niners post interception was a flashpoint moment more than the interception, because the interception could have been the flashpoint moment, but the fact that it was a 3 and out spoke volumes. And it was that championship medal. I think the next one, and this to me was where the Chiefs won the game. And I didn't think it was going to go to OT. I thought we were going to get a Chiefs. I thought they were going to punch it. I thought Travis Kelce
I
was
thought they
gonna
were going
go
to
right
punch
there.
it as
But
well.
I thought this was and that being said, with Travis Kelce punching it, I thought in the third quarter, end of the third quarter, Chiefs punt after an 8-play drive, and Ray McCloud, or it goes off of whoever's foot, and Ray McCloud
Yes.
fails to pick it up, and then they score on the next play to MVS.
Yes.
Literally the next play. That to me was like, when they went up 13-10, I was like, game's over. I thought in my mind, game was over.
There was 2 times in that game where the Chiefs had momentum. They scored both times. The first one was that punt. It nicked somebody's ankle, and then Ray McCloud juggled it. They got it back, scored the very next play. The only other time that they had momentum was that last final drive in overtime. It was the only time they had momentum.
That, and I thought, and to me, the reason why that was so impactful was because it was like the Niners had played outside of the McCaffrey fumble, which they were fine. They recovered from that. They held them to a punt the next drive. That to me was like, they've played perfect to this point, and they even got a turnover. They didn't capitalize, but they got a turnover. They took a possession away from them, and they've played perfect, and that was the breaking point. It was like, we've done everything. And then on top of that, correct me if I'm wrong, but then yes, then it was like they go down, they score, they play perfect, right? Then they muff the punt, Chiefs score on the next play, next drive, touchdown. And I went, okay, that's a good response. And then the field goal, and then the extra point gets blocked.
Yes.
And there was just a little bit of like I feel like the building tensed up when that happened. They were like, ooh, because every point matters in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In any other game, even in an NFC AFC championship, if you can recover. The
I
Super Bowl
literally,
though,
I told my dad that is the biggest play of the Super Bowl because now all they have to do is kick a field goal and it's tied up. If they make that extra point, the Chiefs have to punch it in. If they do not punch it in, they lose that game. They cannot kick a field goal. They blocked that, which I don't know what maybe it was just a bad hold from the holder, but
it
Moody
just didn't
kicked
look
it.
like he didn't get any
He
air
kicked,
under it.
yeah, he kicked it so low, which is
Yeah.
it's very it's not normal for a kicker on an extra point to kick it low. They always
Where
kick it
was
high.
Yeah, which that's the thing is it was an extra point to me, and it's like, why were you driving the ball so low? It's not like you were going from 50. You know what I
That's
mean?
why that's why I'm saying it could have been a holding error.
Yeah, it could be.
There's something with that, or I don't know. He could have had just the muscle memory of making that 54 yarder, 55 yarder, whatever it was. He could have just
He
had
is a
that
rookie.
still in his mind.
He is a
But for a
rookie.
rookie kicker, I mean, in the Super Bowl to make
And
those kicks.
bro, how about Butker making a 85-yard field goal off the post, off the crossbar? That was nuts.
You mean a 58? You said 85.
No, off the kickoff, bro. When he kicked
Oh,
it through
after
the
kickoff,
uprights,
yeah.
he literally kicked it through the uprights on
Yeah.
kickoff.
I
That
mean,
was
that's
nuts.
not that nuts.
But the accuracy wise, like after
Yeah.
literally just after hitting a 57, he's like, "Oh, you guys think that was cool? Let me show you something." It was so irrelevant, but we all were sitting there like, um, but yeah, that was like that to me was the like that muff punt.
That changed
That
the game.
muff punt to me felt like that was the game. And if that wasn't, then it was the blocked. It was for sure the blocked field, the
No,
blocked extra point.
The block PAT for me was the moment where I was like, this is the momentum switch. And then after that blocked PAT, if I'm not remembering things wrong, that's when we had those other two momentum switches. I believe the punt
Mm-mm.
was after that.
The punt was
Before.
yeah, it was at the punt was
It doesn't matter that much. Play that game 9 times out of 10. I couldn't tell you who's going to win. That's
yeah,
just
no, it
how
was no. The blocked field goal was the blocked extra point was right after.
right after.
So punt, blocked field goal, and then everything else happened. And because then it was because they scored and they made it 13-10. Niners scored, made it 16-13. Then it was the field goals trading.
Yeah.